Good evening. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. And the story we want to discuss today is one of great importance as far as national security goes. Is India's demography changing? And if the answer to that is yes, then is that change organic or is it due to influx of illegals? Well, the latest to raise an alarm about this is the Vice President of our country. Jagdeep Dhankar said that there is a growing threat of demographic disorder in this country. He said that the consequences of the disorder would be no less than that of a nuclear bomb. According to him, this demographic dislocation is turning certain regions into political fortresses where elections have no real meaning. He added that it was alarming to see how some areas had been affected by the strategic shift, turning them into impenetrable strongholds where democracy loses its essence. Now, this is not the first instance where such a remark has been made. A few months ago, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma alleged that Assam's rapidly rising Muslim population poses an existential threat to the culture of the indigenous Assamese. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has claimed conspiracy to change the demography of several states in this country, like that of Manipur and Jharkhand, where infiltration is being aided and abetted. The opposition has scoffed at these remarks every time they've come to the fore. But can these concerns be brushed aside altogether? Let me put forth some facts. A 2021 report by Pew Research Center points to changes in demography in states across India, particularly highlighting 3 states of concern. Now, all of this data is from 2001 or to 2011, which was when the last census was conducted. Let's start with the state of West Bengal. The Hindu share decreased by 2 percentage points to 71%. Muslim share increased by 2% to 27%. Muslims experienced their biggest change in the northeast in the state of Assam. There was a growth of 3% in their population, directly correlated to the subtraction of 3% from the Hindu population. In another state in that belt that's close to those 2 states is Uttarakhand. Hindu share decreased by 2 percentage points in that state as well. It now stands at 83% is what this research report claimed, while the Muslim share increased by 2 points to 14%. Now, when it comes to Jharkhand, there is a PIL that's being heard in the state high court. It seeks an investigation on intrusion by Bangladeshis illegals and changing demography, specifically in the Santhal Pargana area. Now, data that's based on census reports from 1951 and 2001 show that the population of tribals in this particular region was 44.6% in 1951. Muslims were at 9.4% and others were at 45.9%, close to 46%. But in 2011, when the last census was conducted, the population of tribals in the Santhal Pargana region of Jharkhand decreased to 28%. From 44.6, it comes down to 28%. The Muslim population increases from 9.4 to 22.7%. And others increased by a little over 4 percentage points. Now, increase in minority population seems to be a trend in India as far as Southeast Asia is concerned. I say that because a working paper published by the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister earlier this year had said that India had witnessed a reduction in the share of majority population by 7.8%. The time frame that they were looking at was from 1950 to 2015, with the share of Muslim population rising by 43.15% during that same period. Now, the decline in majority population is only next to Myanmar in our neighborhood, which witnessed a 10% decline among the 167 countries that this think tank, analyzed. The report was meant to highlight that minorities are not just protected in India, but they are actually thriving. But those statistics also put forth some other pertinent questions. Are these minorities Indian citizens who are thriving, or are they illegals that are being patronized by political actors, irrespective of the political ideology, for their own benefit? Which is why we bring the focus back to what Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar said today. If this really is a ticking bomb that has consequences no less than that of a nuclear bomb, is that threat real or is this just political rhetoric? We open that up.
Demographic earthquake, demographic disorder is no less severe in consequences than even a nuclear bomb.
तो हम समझते हैं कि झारखंड के चुनाव को प्रभावित करने की भारतीय जनता पार्टी की एक कोशिश है।
हमारे बॉर्डर की जो निगरानी हो रही है वो सही ढंग से नहीं हो रही और इसके लिए केंद्र सरकार जिम्मेदार है।
देखो ये चिंतनीय है और लगातार हम सब आवाज उठाते रहे, एक गंभीर समस्या है।
Let's open this up. Arshpreet Karyal, spokesperson of the Congress, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, Atikur Rahman, Islamic scholar, and Deshat Nigam, advocate, joins us. Arshpreet Karyal, let me begin by asking you. You know, this is a kind of concern that has been raised by several state governments with borders, specifically with Bangladesh. This is a concern that has been raised by Union Home Minister Amit Shah in context to Jharkhand and Manipur as well. And now the Vice President also sounding an alarm. Do you think this changing demography, the influx of illegals, is a real threat? I believe you're on mute, sir. If you could just unmute yourself, please. We'll try and reconnect that audio with Arshpreet Karyal. We seem to not get that audio link with him. But Atikur Rahman, let me get you in on that. Is this a real threat or not? Is demography changing in India? And if it is, then should it be at least looked into the causes of why that's happening?
Well, Poonam, since I am not an expert on this particular issue of demographic changes in India, I can just tell you that the political stage in India since the last 99 years of the RSS, they are telling the Hindus that the Muslims will be taking you over and there will be a time wherein there will be a Muslim prime minister and a Muslim ruler and the Muslims will come back and rule over you. So this threat to the Hindu population has been posed by the RSS since 99 years. Next year they will be completing their 100 years. Now, if the Prime Minister and the Vice President, the Home Minister of India is also talking on the same lines, I would like to know what exactly are the figures of the infiltrators, the migrated population from other countries, bordering areas, and is it a real threat telling that the Muslims in India, the citizens of the India being Muslims, they are trying and they are trying, deliberately to take over the Hindus. In this regard, Dr. Rafiq Zakaria had written a book in the 1990s wherein he had said that even after 365 years, the Muslims of India will never be able to take over the Hindu population and there will be a Muslim rule in India. So the Vice President and the Prime Minister should come clean what exactly they mean by it. And even if the Muslims will be taking over the Hindu population and there will be a Muslim
I don't know
Prime
who's
Minister,
saying Muslim population will take over Hindu population and that's a concern. In your recent memory, sir, can you tell me any comments specifically made in your recent memory by any RSS leader, any political party leader from any spectrum?
No, Poonam, why recent? Is it not true that the inception of the RSS was on
because
the
we're
same
talking
ground?
about what's happening now. We're not talking about
Right.
what happened
That's
historically,
why.
which is why
Now
I'm asking
then-
you in recent memory when you say
Then-
that RSS has been propagating this, that Muslims are going to overtake the Hindu population and there's going to be a Muslim ruler and that cannot happen. Where is this coming from is what I'm trying to ask you.
No, Desh Ratan Ruji will tell you that RSS has primarily told the Hindu population that if you are not making yourself aware, the Muslims will be taking over you. If I am wrong, Desh Ratan Ji can correct me.
But in your recent memory, no political party leader
No,
or an
now they
RSS
change their
member
colours,
that you can
Poonam.
quote has said this in as many words. Is that what you're saying? But this has been the
Poonam, now
general
they have-
narrative of the RSS, is the allegation
Now
you're
they
making.
have changed their colors since they have their own people in the executive. Now what the RSS says that the DNA of all are same. So if the DNA is same, then why not the Muslim Prime Minister? He should not be averse to the idea of a Muslim Prime Minister. If an Indian Muslim becomes a Prime Minister or a Chief Minister, what is the fuss about?
There is no
Let
fuss
them
about
go.
it. Who has a problem with that?
Let them go. Let
Who
them
has
go.
said they have a problem with it?
So
No,
there
you're just
shouldn't be any
completely
worries
derailing
about
the debate. Can I
demographic
come in,
changes.
Poonam?
If the
Charu Pragya, I'll
demographic
get you in
changes-
just
Why
a
aren't
second.
you focused
Just a second.
on
Charu
the
Pragya,
issue
just a
that we're
second.
discussing?
But which is why I kept asking Atikur Rahman in recent memory, because that's what
No,
we're
why
discussing.
Why
I don't think there is a problem with a
RSS
Muslim
has
political
all
leader
the same
becoming the chief
ideology.
minister or even the prime minister of this country. If the population growth of Muslims is organic, there's absolutely not a problem. That's not what is being spoken of here. Let me make that clear first. But Arshpreet Kadyal, before we lost that line with you, many within the opposition believe that this is just a political rhetoric that now even the vice president is speaking of. That this is not true, that there is no demographic change, even though there are stats to back it up.
Thank you for the question. First and foremost, a senior leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party, known by the name of Kailash Vijayvargiya, he said, given the demography changing, you people will not be able to live. Think about it. And he said a civil war could erupt in the next 30 years. And this statement coming from a senior BJP leader goes on to suggest that the Bharatiya Janata Party is on to divide and rule. And this is very much against what the Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders say. They say in 3 decades, India would be a developed country. And a senior leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party is contradicting their high command, their senior leadership, by saying that there would be a civil war because of the demography changing. My question to the Bharatiya Janata Party is, what action has been taken against a senior leader and a minister if you do not agree with him? And if you do not agree with him, the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson should clarify, because a senior leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party also said, घुसपैठिए घुसे हुए हैं, जिनके बच्चे ज़्यादा होते हैं when they were campaigning for the Lok Sabha elections. We all remember that. The British is gone, but the Bharatiya Janata Party is still here. And they are trying to divide and rule. And I want to know from the BJP, what is your stand on this?
And Charu Pragya will respond to that, but you're not answering my question. Is this a real threat? Is this a situation that India needs to handle or not? That there is an influx of illegals coming into our states, which is why there is demographic changes that are being seen, Jharkhand being an example.
Now, there are 2 things to that, Poonam. Number one, why are the BJP leaders like Mr. Vijayvargiya not being specific? Why are the BJP leaders not specifying which people are they talking about? Who do they exactly refer to when it comes to the demographic change? And when the VP was giving an example of so many countries have now become this and this, we would really want a little clarification on that as to which countries was he referring to. If the BJP spokesperson would want to shed light upon that, we would really want to hear it. Which countries was Mr. Dhankar referring to? And before that, the BJP leaders, the statements that they made. We want to have clarity on that as to what the BJP stand is, because BJP is accustomed to having double standards. They blow hot and cold at the same time. And today, they will not be allowed to get away with it. They need to either condemn
Sure, I'll let Charu Pragya answer and respond to you, but you still haven't answered my question. Does the Congress believe this is a threat or not? The yes or no question.
No, but that's what I'm saying. No. One second.
What the BJP does and whether they blow hot and cold, let Charu Pragya answer on that. But my question to you was very specific.
No, I have understood a question, Poonam. What I'm saying is that they say demographic change is a problem.
He's understood, but he doesn't have an answer to that.
It seems like it, because you're trying to go around in circles and shift the blame to the BJP while the BJP can defend that. Charu Pragya, the allegation from Arshpreet Kadyal. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Arshpreet.
So what I'm saying is that I answered your question very specifically, that the BJP says demographic change is a problem. But what demographic change are you referring to? Which all people are you referring to? Facts to do, stats to do, data to do. You are in the center government and you have referred to no data. There is no specific information or knowledge. And you say...
Sure, Charu Pragya. So, yeah, Charu Pragya, the allegation against the BJP is that it's a shoot and scoot sort of a situation where you make comments to try and whip up a certain sentiment, but they're not backed by facts. That's the allegation the opposition makes against the BJP.
So, I'm sorry that the Congress has double standards over every single thing, but let me begin by stating facts and only facts. In 2004, then UPA Home Minister Jaiswal ji made a statement in Parliament This was on July 14, 2004. He said there were over 1.2 crore illegal Bangladeshi infiltrators living in different parts of the country. I am talking about 2004 here, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, the estimation by Ashpreet's own government was over 1.2 crore. This was said on the floor of the House in Parliament. That's one thing. The second thing is Mamata Banerjee herself, over decades, has maintained that the situation in West Bengal, because of illegal infiltrants, has made a situation which became a poll issue when she was contesting. Back when left used to be in power and Mamata Didi was not what she has become today. She in fact given her resignation in Parliament on this exact issue, saying I have failed because I have not been able to stop this illegal immigration.
Ashpreet Karia, let her finish, please. I'll give you your time, let her finish.
Ashpreet, I did not interrupt you.
Let her finish, please. I'll come back to your rebuttal. Charu Pragya, go ahead.
Facts, figures, dates and numbers to Ashpreet, it irks him because, like I said, I am speaking with facts, figures, dates and numbers. So Mamata Banerjee actually did that whole drama of saying there are illegal infiltrators coming into West Bengal and I have not been able to do anything because CPIM supports them. Here I am giving my resignation. She took it back later, and later on she became what the left used to be once upon a time, and the same amount of illegal infiltration has continued in West Bengal. Let me tell you more. A TMC leader just before 2024 Lok Sabha elections clearly said everybody who's coming in from Bangladesh, if they need their name on the electoral roll of India, we are going to help them get it, but be sure that they are not supporters of BJP. If they are TMC supporters, we will help them get it. Please check this. Mamata Didi was the one who did not allow BSF to set up checkposts within 50 kilometers of Indian territory. You know why? Because they run an entire nexus which controls the comings and goings of illegal infiltrators. Now that is a fact. Recently, आप कर्नाटका में अपनी सरकार चलाते हैं, आपको कर्नाटका की कहानी बताते हैं. There is nothing that they actually know and they act on. And again, allow me to
Ashpreet, let her finish, please. I'll give you your time. There is enough time to go around. Please let her finish.
I don't debate like this.
Ashpreet Karia, please. It's a request I'm making to you.
I have not been on a debate with you for months now, and I have made it a point.
Well, I asked you a specific question that you went around in circles as well. So let her finish, please. I will give you your time. You can counter every single thing she says with what you have to say. I will give you your time. Let her finish, please. Let's try and keep this civil. Let's try and keep this civil. Let's not heckle anybody, please.
He's the most infuriating and most interrupting.
Ashpreet Karia, please, I request you to not heckle anyone. And this is a request to all my panelists. Charu Pragya, go ahead, please.
Please put a fader on him.
Go ahead, Charu Pragya, make your point.
But Poonam, this is not done. Repeatedly, he is
I've asked him to not interrupt you, Charu Pragya.
Things to you.
Yes, go ahead.
One question.
And if he does,
please, Ashpreet Karyal, I can't. This can't go on. Ashpreet Karyal, please.
Ashpreet, what is your problem, yaar?
I'm making a request to you, Ashpreet Karyal. If you can't do that, I will have to put your fader down.
I am not answering.
This is the last time. This is the last time that I'm making a request to you. Please
do not interrupt me.
Charu Pragya, go ahead.
I'll tell you, Poonam, what this man is doing. He wants to waste the time of the entire debate so that real issues are not being discussed. I'll tell you what are the real issues. 8 Bangladeshis were held for living in Karnataka with fake documents. The SP of Udupi, Arun Kumarji, in fact, caught them at the immigration because they were trying to fly to Dubai with a fake passport. What is Congress doing with any of this? The demography is changing in Jharkhand, in Assam, in West Bengal repeatedly with the help of Congress. Congress is well aware of this. In fact, I can quote you situations where people have been caught in Maharashtra with fake Aadhaar cards actually trying to go out and vote, and who did they turn out to be? They were Bangladeshis. In Tripura, repeatedly in Agartala, the police has caught infiltrators who come here, who form a nexus with people living here with political connections, with people who were powerful in the UPA regime. They create these fake documents and then they go on and live here for a long period of time till they can naturalize themselves. So that situation is what has been created by the Congress party, and if you will allow me, I can quote 20 such cases to you. 20 such cases. And let me start. I can begin now. May I? At least 4-5 to meko quote karne.
But Charu Pragya, the allegation
Shakir
against...
Haider illegally entered India, lived in Mumbai.
Sure. There are lots of instances to quote, but the allegation against the BJP is that you've been in power at the center. if indeed this is because of illegal
Right.
migration and illegal immigrants coming into India, then what has the central government done to stop it?
So let me tell you what the central government did. We changed the rules for BSF and we said that now BSF is going to be guarding 50 kilometers of territory inside India. 50 kilometers. It happened all over the country. You know which state did not allow this to happen? It was the state of West Bengal. Our motion was actually passed in the legislature there under Mamata Banerjee, which said that we will not allow this to happen because this is the situation which has been created only to trouble our citizens. Mamata Banerjee went so far ahead as to write a letter to Prime Minister Modi stating exactly this. None of this was allowed to happen. I am telling you names and instances of MLAs who have said अगर TMC के supporter है उनको आने दो भारत में, हम उनका नाम वोटर लिस्ट पे ऐड करवा देते हैं. There are TMC leaders who are saying कि यहाँ की demography तो अब ऐसी है, यहाँ पर Sharia law चलेगा. People are being beaten up in the streets. Does Harshpreet even raise his voice for any of these concerns, or is he an Indian only for convenience sake? And is his politics so cheap and so selfish that you can't even raise your voice for your nation? That's the situation. What the Vice President has said today is absolutely true. The problem is this demography is changing not just in Assam or West Bengal or Jharkhand. This is
And
changing
Harshpreet Kadyal, you may say that the BJP is not doing enough. Fair enough, you're allowed to have that criticism of yourself. But when you're talking about West Bengal, one of your own allies, Hemant Soren, very recently came out and said that we don't have a demography change issue, but look at West Bengal. And the figures will speak for themselves. Which means that somebody, even within the India bloc, agrees that this is a problem.
Poonam, kindly allow me uninterrupted.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Now, number one,
No,
the amount of time. Now the amount.
Okay, Charu Pragya. Now I asked him not to do that to you, please. I request the same. I request you to do the same, please.
They are accustomed to this. The Bharatiya Janata Party is used to this. That is what their expertise is.
It doesn't help the cause of this show. It definitely doesn't put across your point. And I request, this is a request to everybody on this panel. Please, let's not heckle anybody. I made the same request to Harshpreet Kadyal thrice. Charu Pragya, please.
Yes, but I did it.
She will judge the Bharatiya Janata Party is not used
point
to it,
taken.
na?
Sure,
The
point.
BJP is not used to listening.
Point
Now,
taken,
put
Charu
her-
Pragya.
now
Harshpreet
put her
Kadyal,
fader
okay, get to
down.
the point,
Now
please.
put her fader down. Now what I'm
Yes,
saying is,
I requested you thrice, Mr. Kadyal. Now
you
please go
request-
ahead.
I'll tell you what. Number one, the Bharatiya Janata Party's expertise is to do this after speaking for 5 minutes and not answering one question that was asked about their own leader. The Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson spoke of everything under the sun, but did not specify as to what their stand is on Vijay Vargya's statement. Why do you have to run away from your own leader's statement? Either condemn it or support it.
Because we're not discussing Vijay Vargya's statement, Harshpreet Kadyal.
Why not? It is on demographic change. It is on demographic change, right? That is what our topic is.
Sure.
If I've asked a question that
But I'm sorry, you're not the one asking the questions here. I am, and I asked you, your own
we are supposed to
ally,
ask questions?
and your own
we are
ally.
not supposed to ask questions.
Sorry,
We are not supposed to ask questions.
I have asked you a question. I want an answer to that because Deshratan Nigam
No.
is also patiently waiting.
Well, what I'm saying is, first segment you asked me a question, I answered that my way. Nevertheless, I asked a question of the BJP, no answer was given. You didn't ask a question of the BJP.
I asked
Nevertheless,
them a question that if illegal influx is an issue, then what is the central government doing about it?
My
Because it is the
que-
central government's job.
Vijay Vargya's question, that is what is relevant. Because Vijay Vargya has said there would be a civil war in 30 years. Is there going to be a civil war? Is what I want to know from Bharatiya Janata Party, because they say it's going to be a developed country by the end of 3 decades. And their own leader is saying there's going to be a civil war. Their leader is saying, will you be able
Well,
to
if
live?
the likes
Please
of you
think
come
about
to
it.
power, it will be worse
Interrupting
than a
again.
civil war. We have
That is
seen
what the
that.
BJP
Okay.
knows.
You have
Okay,
right
I have
to
very
put
limited
into
time
the
on this. I asked you a
have
question
right to
about
put
this
into the
particular
ground.
issue,
Please put a fader
whether
down.
or not
He has
West
no
Bengal,
right to
Jharkhand, Assam,
wasting
Manipur,
6
all of
minutes,
these states
the BJP
have these
spokesperson
issues
continues
of
to
illegal
interrupt.
influx or not. Harshpreet Kadyal, I have to get in Deshratan Nigam as well. 30 seconds is what I can give you if you can answer my question, please.
Thank
Charu
you.
Pragya, just
I'll
a second.
Thank you. I'll give an answer to that. Number one, let's see it for what it is. If the Bharatiya Janata Party is saying demographic change is a problem, why have they not dealt with it is the question. They have been in power for the last 10 years. If they say that there have been infiltrators, there have been these people coming in, what action have you taken against them? And if you're saying lakhs and crores of people have been coming in, that goes on to suggest that you've failed to protect the sovereignty. You have failed to safeguard the rights of our citizens, and other people from outside have been able to come and capture our rights. So the Bharatiya Janata Party has given a certificate of failure to themselves. What else do we need? And next, the Bharatiya Janata Party does not want to answer as to which all people are they talking about. Because some leaders talk of घुसपैठिए, some leaders say कि जिनके बच्चे ज्यादा होते हैं. I want to know from the Bharatiya Janata Party, who are these people that Mr. Modi was talking about back in the day?
Okay,
Please
so
specify.
this is just rhetoric, is what the opposition says. But Deshrata Nigam, Charu Pragya, just a second, please. I don't have enough time on this. I need to get in Deshrata Nigam. He's been patiently waiting for 20 minutes. Deshrata Nigam, thank you so much for patiently waiting. You've heard all that's gone around on this show, but I want to ask you this: when Jagdeep Dhankar said that it's not just about illegal influx, it's also hinting at political patronage, because he says that this particular shift is turning certain areas into impenetrable strongholds where democracy is losing its essence. What do you think he's alluding to? What exactly are we talking about?
Well, Poonam, let me make it very clear that when about RSS, that RSS talks about social harmony and keeping nation first. And it is irrespective of political parties and what they think. This applies across the board, whether they are Communist Party, BJP, or the Congress. If anybody can keep the national interest supreme, then I don't think there is any problem. Yes, RSS was concerned since 99 years, and we did suffer a partition where 1/3 of the land went away, and the people, 98% people who voted for creation of Pakistan stayed back in India. And it is said it was by choice. First create Pakistan, and then by choice you stay back in India. Then Nehru Liaquat Pact took place when the population exchange was to take place, which stopped everything. Now what Mr. Dhankar was actually alluding was, there is a political patronage to a particular ideology which does not believe in diversity, which believes in uniformity and singular way of life, which means only Islamic law. And we have seen in certain parts of our country where the population, if it crosses a particular threshold, Hindu festivals are not allowed to be celebrated. Hindus cannot take out procession. They have to take permission from them. This is what we are talking about. Democracy and plurality and diversity has no meaning. This is what he was alluding to, where in democracy numbers matter, and therefore if numbers increase, the particular kind of people, appeasement, those who are appeasing a particular section of community, they get elected, and you have a different kind of a system in the electoral bodies. And this is where the strategic demographic changes that he was talking about. And if you have to preserve democracy and plurality in India, you have to have that balance, fine balance, where the philosophy of tolerance and acceptance has to be followed by everybody. And RSS, let me tell you, is never against any Muslim. A patriotic and nationalist Muslim is always welcome in this country. Anybody who's against this country or nation, the RSS will obviously oppose. And Mr. Atikur Rahman is a nationalist. We have never been against him. There are people, and if you see the illegal immigration, the taking place from Bangladesh side, let me tell you, there was a PIL in Delhi High Court in 2010, where the Congress government said on oath that there are 4.5 crores Bangladeshis, and they said it's a very conservative estimate. It was not even the actual truthful estimate. So these are the things that it has to be taken into account. The natural Indian Muslims, we have no problem. If they turn out to be anti-India, they can be dealt with under the laws of the country. Even if Hindus turn against or the communists turn against this nation, they are also dealt with according to the laws of the land. But illegal immigration, changing demographies of the areas and the border areas especially. And let me tell you, West Bengal government is creating problem in land acquisition so that the BSF posts can be brought near. Today, they are far off. So that the West Bengal government has also to allow land acquisition where they are creating problems. So today what we have to see, and the political parties, including the Congress and others, have to understand, they have to align their policies to a concept called nation is first and supreme. Then everything will fall in place. Once you start appeasing, once you start standing with illegal immigrants, then we have a problem. Because they are the ones, and the statistics show they are involved in crime, they are involved in extremism, they are involved in terrorism. So this is also creating a serious national security problem and threat to this country.
Absolutely, the repercussions are far-reaching.
And therefore, please, Please rise above your narrow political concepts and think in nation as supreme. And believe me, if Congress and all other parties, start thinking on those lines, there will not be a problem. You may have your differences, political differences on electoral field, but keep nation as supreme. And that is where we have the serious concern about this illegal immigration, forced conversion, induced conversion, or any kind of threatful conversion. So we have to maintain this fine balance, because we are the ones who believe in everybody's religion. There are religions who do not believe in our religion. But then, please, if you confine your religion to your personal self, we don't have any problem.
Absolutely. If there is demographic change and if it is happening organically, that is not an issue. If these are Indian Muslims, that is not a problem. I don't think anybody has a problem with that, like I said right at the start of the show. But if there is a threat of illegal migrants, of influx of that happening in the country, then that is a cause of concern. And at the very least, that threat should be acknowledged and dealt with. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I have to leave it at that. I thank you all for joining us here on this edition of Plain Speak. Time for a quick break, but on the other side, we'll get you details of what happened in Pakistan as External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar attended the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit and sent out a stern message to both Pakistan and China.